share the essence with everything simultaneously. This will release out from being specific, being deluded to specificity, being limited to just oneself, limited, just with cold or hot. Share the essence with everything simultaneously. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Open up. Otherwise, you will not be able to tolerate samsara. Go beyond it. When you mean for everything in the way of not grasping for the non-grasping itself, it will be beyond everything naturally. Otherwise, always clashing with oneself. When it's meant with everything, it's like lotus flowers discarding the blossoming stage. You all have perfections, but it hasn't been yet shared simultaneously, which is the great compassion. True great compassion doesn't have limits. So instantly open up beyond opening itself completely. Whenever your mind is dropping anywhere and being limited with anything, it becomes already uneasy, because it's like everything has suffering state. It's unable to bear, especially the limitations within oneself is the unbearable within itself. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself, from the discarding itself. Sometimes it's already discarding the discarding, but it's not shared with everything. It just stuck with discarding the discarding. It has to be meant for samsara. Not grasping for the non-grasping itself has to be meant for samsara. Not just with this kind of essence. Not for the sake of this essence. With everything, help unwind, help purify through the emptiness for samsara simultaneously. This is brighten out with the great compassion. Whenever you are in limitations, the uneasiness is there. Everyone is all the same like this. Therefore, the discarding itself is meant with everything, without limits, bypassing through the purification right away, instantly. It is not limited with just the discarding itself, or from my itself. It has to be meant with everything. Help through cutting deluded knowing, helping through ending, purify through nibbana, through the emptiness. Not grasping for the non-grasping itself is not limited to just that. It's meant for everything simultaneously. Help through unwinding and releasing, helping through purification of emptiness. Therefore, don't forget the word everything, because it will not be made oneself stuck with anything and blocked with anything particularly. This is the essential code for each thing, each matter. It's just not for the sake of nibbana. It's meant for everything. It's just not the emptiness for the sake of emptiness. It's meant for everything. Instead, then it will turn into purification of the emptiness through Nibbana, helping samsara. This is not just about liberation of suffering. It's meant for everything through liberation. Not attached to the non-attachment itself is meant for everything. That is called helping through unwinding and releasing. So the word everything has to guide the way because it's the great compassion, is the essential code to proceed the great compassion towards all things. Use it more constantly. It will not make you in difficulty. Whenever you entering specificity with anything too much, it's just being blocked by that thing. It's derived from the great compassion. Instead of sharing the great compassion, it's just creating something for the sake of oneself. Oneself and oneself and oneself, always for the sake of oneself. Therefore, that's meant for everything. Everything is already short enough. Soyo in Chinese means everything. ทุกอย่าง in Thai. Is it direct? If you say yes, then it's not aligned. Someone has been cut off the karmic difficulties already. Later on, just refrain from the refraining itself with everything. Everything is abstain from the abstaining itself. Knowing and seeing prefers to be specific, being stuck with just seeing and knowing. Therefore, you need to use the thought, the reminder. Everything is from my itself. Everything. This is even beyond blossoming lotus, that which is boundless. To be stuck with just attachment or detachment is not okay. It's impossible. With just blossoming or closing is not okay. That's not the way. Just use this reminder, everything, more constantly, so that you will get out of your narrowness. Thoughts recalls emotions and feelings, seeing and knowing, releasing out from this kind of narrowness and out from the narrowness of samsara. Continue to guide the way with the reminders of everything. Constantly use this word. When you open the palms already, then the essence will be shared immediately. Everything. Uninvolved within the uninvolvement itself. Everything is from uninvolved within the uninvolvement itself. Everything is from my, which is from my itself. With this, it will enable you to constantly purify samsara through the emptiness, helping through unwinding and releasing for samsara consistently. Everyone has one's own personal stuff, being specific with just oneself, with just knowing, seeing, looking, with just the mind, emotions and feelings, body and mind. That is like preferences. Knowing and seeing is being specific with just knowing and seeing. Is the habit of realms of existence, of samsara, habits of samsara. Therefore, you need to come to terms to purify this kind of habit thoroughly. Purify this kind of habit thoroughly. For being specific, everything is boundless. When you are delusively being specific, it's going to cause difficulty to yourself. Everything. You need to open the eyes and open up. Don't go inside. You stuck with just stillness and drowning. Open up. Flowers must blossom out without taking in the opening. Continue to hear Long Po. It will release out by itself. If you maintain stillness, it becomes realm of existence. This doesn't dissolve itself. It's kind of hiding inside. It's just hiding inside. This is like clashing inside. Everything discarding itself. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Everything is not attached to the non-attachment itself. Use these reminders constantly. This is not about trying to dwell within the mind, within meditation or equanimity, stillness or indifference. It's not about trying to dwell within peace, peaceful state. This is not dissolving self. It's going to be diluted for a long time with this kind of state of mind. It has nothing to do with peace or no peace. It's not about anything within stillness or no stillness. It's not about anything within anything. Let's purify the habits of the attempt to dwell within the mind and fixated to the mind. Everything is from mind, which is from mind itself. Automatically, it will purify all this kind of drowning within stillness and indifference. Everything is discarding itself, not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Everything. Uninvolved even within the uninvolvement itself, not grasping even for the non-grasping itself, with everything. Keep the eyes open up in balance between internal and external, and come to terms with the purification onwards, cutting within the cutting itself. Continue to purify all the attachment or the fixation constantly. It's not about anything within the body or the mind or anything whatsoever. Don't drop in anything for too long. Continue to purify this kind of fixation. Everything is from mind, which is from mind itself, from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. When you say everything already opening up widely. But if you maintain, it's like the flowers not blossoming out. Maintaining meditation, meditative state is maintaining itself. It's not blossoming out. This is unwinding, discarding the unwinding itself. Unwind from the unwinding itself. Let go of the letting go itself. That's why this saying, everything is from mind, which is from mind itself. Not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Once you open the palms and use this reminder, everything, mind from mind itself with everything. It's not mind within oneself. You're gonna be uptight. That is like taking in mind. Mind cannot be taken in. Liberation cannot be taken in. So you have to be meant for all. Helping through unwinding, cutting and releasing for all. Proceed with the great compassion. Go ahead. Everyone is not opening completely. If everyone opening completely, then it will be all the same. Brighten out without limits, all together. The point is you always dropping within yourself. Therefore, you need to use the reminders constantly with the word everything. Open up, because this reminder can open you up. Eyes, knowing and seeing will not be stuck with itself because it's widening out already from itself. And all the narrowness will be opened up from itself also. All the drowning state will be released out as well. All the teaching about mindfulness, concentration, contemplation, wisdom, meditative power, spiritual insights, and all that is like making it worse because they don't give the essence of the enlightenment, of the essence of cutting the deluded knowing. It's just a fixation, practicing to attain, to observe, to analyze. There is just practicing for attainment only. This is making it worse. Getting out of the worldly way to grasp for the Dharma way. How is that? Let's grasp something better here. It's the same samudaya, same DNA, just changing location of grasping. Offer the direct essence of the enlightenment. Everything is from mind, which is from mind itself. There is no need to practice anything. Mind from mind itself. Don't practice anything. No need. Mind means cutting. Cutting within itself. It's not about practicing anything. Directly cut through the deluded knowing to help one another. Directly. Not grasping for the non-grasping self is mind. Everything is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Help through cutting deluded knowing, cutting the cutting itself, auto-cutting. This is not about practicing for attainment. The essence of cutting deluded knowing is not about practicing to grasp for attainment or achievement. Enlightenment is cutting, auto-cutting. It's not about cutting anything, otherwise it's going to be a delusion. Auto-cutting ends the delusion to cut. Don't use the act of cutting to cut anything, because it's going to become a delusion to cut. Mind from mind itself instead of mind towards something. Not grasping for the non-grasping self. It's not about not grasping something. It's not about grasping for the non-grasping. Mind from mind itself. This is not to use mind towards anything. Not grasping for non-grasping itself. It's not about grasping for the non-grasping. And then proceed with everything simultaneously. In this way, there is no such thing as individuality. Continue with everything. This will release out from the narrowness of oneself. The big problem is oneself. Something within oneself. That is the big problem. Beyond blossoming flowers, because it's from not grasping for the non-grasping self. That's why it's beyond. Beyond identification. Beyond the beyond. This is from not grasping for the non-grasping itself. It is beyond the beyond itself. This is from mind itself, not grasping for the non-grasping itself. Therefore, continue to use reminders, because the habits of dropping within oneself or anything will be released from one's alleyways. To identify with this and that whatsoever, it will be out of that. Open palms as well. Everything.